Hello YouTube. Today we're going to be going over some of the guitar parts from Bethel One Thing Remains off of the album Be Lifted High. We're going to be talking about some of the effects that go into making this song sound how it does on the album and some of the guitar parts that are played within the song. So first let's go take a look at the effects that we'll be using today. First we have our Boss RV5 reverb. I have it set pretty well in the mix. That way we can get a nice underwash sound. On the delay pedal there are a lot of things we can do. You can use quarter notes or you can use dotted eighth notes on this song. If you're using the quarter notes, I'd set the BPM for 145, and if you're using dotted eighth notes I would set it for about 72. And this is how I have that set up over here. I'm using the standard mode on my DD20. Now another thing about this song is you're going to want to have two gain stages of overdrive. I have my Box of Rock here set up for my lead tones, and I have my Way Huge Pork Loin set up for my rhythm. So now let's talk about the intro guitar part on this song. I'll be playing today in the key of G. So we are going to go to the 3rd fret on the A string, and for the intro you're gonna play the A string on the 3rd fret and then open strings D and G, so it's gonna sound like this. Now after that we're gonna go to the E string on the 3rd fret, so it'll sound like this. So the open notes stay the same. We're hitting the 3rd fret A, open D, open G, then we're going to the 3rd fret E, open D, G. So the open notes are staying the same. And then we're going to go down up to the 4th and 5th fret. It's going to be the A string on the 5th and the D string on the 4th. And I'm playing just like the same pattern as the others. Then we're going to slide back down and play our basic E minor shape. Same pattern. And then we're going to repeat the entire line except for the E minor. So in all it's going to sound like this. So that is the instrumental at the beginning of One Thing Remains. Now let's talk about the verses. Now if you're the only guitar player, which can sometimes happen in a smaller venue, you need to fill up some space that's missing from the other instruments. So you can do some picking like this. And that's going to fill up space. Now if there are more than one guitar player can play swells, like that, and then we can have another guy up here on the 8th fret, E string, and the 7th fret, A string, and the B string on the 8th as well, and that's going to be our C chord. And then we're going to slide up to the 12th fret B and the 10th fret A string and play this harmony note for G. And then we're going to take the same shape that we used for that high C and play it just 2 frets higher, and that's going to be our D. So now it's going to sound like this. Kind of gives a nice airy feel up there and gets away from everyone who's playing in this middle range up here. So if you're playing lead, that is an option for you. Now let's talk about the chorus. You're going to have someone playing the chorus. So, to get away from playing the same thing with other instruments, we can bring it up here to the 7th fret A string, 8th fret B string, and play some harmony notes. And there's that C shape that we were playing earlier, G shape that we were playing, D shape again. So now let's talk about when the gain comes in. They usually build for the second verse into the on and on and on verse. So we're going to put on our first stage of overdrive. Making sure it's not too dirty and not too loud. And you can do that same strum pattern as before if you want, or you can play the high part. Way up there. So either way, just adding that first stage of gain is going to help the dynamics of the song. Now, let's skip over to the bridge, because this actually is one of the ones that has a guitar part pretty high up on the neck. So we're going to go to our second stage overdrive now, which is My Box of Rock, and we're going to go all the way up to the 12th fret, up here, and we're going to play this shape. Now, the first note is going to be a C, and the rhythm guitars are going to be on the C chord down here. So we're going to play C, then B, and then D. So it's going to sound like this. And that part plays throughout the entire bridge. Now, if you have a rhythm guitar player like an acoustic, then you have another rhythm electric and a lead electric, you can have the rhythm electric play here. And that'll work also. Now, another part that you can play on lead if you don't want to play all the way up on the 12th fret is down here on the 7th fret, and we're going to play some 5th harmony notes. So instead of the single notes, we're going to be playing so that's the 7th fret D and B, and then all the way up to the 12th, then to the 7th, and then go up to the minor, which is here. It's a little bit different of a shape. So in all, it's going to sound like this. And the second time you don't go to the minor. So that's another part that you can play as the lead electric. Now, coming out of the bridge into the quiet chorus, I would do either swells, pretty clean swells, or you could do them up here. Any variation of that will work. So that about wraps it up for this song. If you have any questions, please comment and ask anything you like.